little Khazate force is like one of those little yapping dogs that runs after you, barking all noisily, and then as soon as you turn on it, it just cowers in the corner somewhere. We'll head over to Poros, see if we can't defend that with this large force. Of course, we're looking for that other large Khazate army, but at this stage, fellas, I have a confession to make. In this campaign, I had every intention of making a super savage, devious Joker from the Dark Knight type run to independence here, turning into our own kingdom. However, circumstances have caused me to reconsider it. We're actually going to become our own kingdom because of our maniacal warmongering leader here. Guzid, this guy's my bro, but look at this. He has a reputation of being aggressive and asks much of people. Well, that's very appropriate. He's role-playing perfectly to that because we're at war with everybody. That's certainly being aggressive when you're at war with the whole map, including many other kingdoms that are much larger than you, including the Valandians, right? He's asking for much from us for sure. And when we ask for peace, I got to be careful here. I'm running out of influence. When we ask for peace, of course, no. They say absolutely not. And it doesn't matter who. I've already tried a couple different kingdoms. Let's try Botania. I haven't tried them yet. The Sturgians, of course, took Oneira, and they're starting to bore in on us. They're becoming a presence in the south. But even if I try Botania, who's not particularly close, right, with Caladog still at the head, let's see if we can get peace from Botania, right? Peace with anybody? Any takers at all? No, they want to pay us for tribute. And what do the Aserai do? The Aserai under assault in every direction? Absolutely not. We're not having any peace. So indeed, Guzid is aggressive and asks for a lot from his people. Now, Poros is under siege. I think it's the Western Empire. We're going to head over there. This other Khazate force of about 2,000 is nearby here. So I've got a large force. This is probably a little larger than I want. But now that I've expended the influence to gather these forces, I don't really want to disband them. Now we've got a bunch of palace guards and a lot of other elite troops in this army, right? We've been gathering them. We hit a castle in the south that was stacked with elite troops, so we're ready for battle and we're ready to become our own kingdom. But before I do that, though, I want to smash this force attacking Poros. That's one of the cities that we'll be carrying into the new campaign, and of course we also want to take Vostrum. Vostrum probably will be the city we take right before we declare independence, right? We will go to our governor here in Danustica and declare independence, and then take Vostrum, right? Now, the Aserai are all over the place. You got this dipshit force way over here attacking Rotai. So it is a good time from that perspective to become our own kingdom. But on the other hand, there's so much war around us. I had at a minimum, I have to defend our city, our couple cities here from assault, right? If these Khazate siege Danustica, we're going to have to defend it. And right now, it's kind of nice that I can borrow this large Aserai force, because obviously, once we become independent, our army size will shrink rapidly, right? We're going to fall down to 800, right? 700-800, somewhere in that ballpark. There's a small Aserai force. And here are the Sturgians, right? So the Sturgians, they just took Oneira 4 days ago, and evidently they want more, right? They're like Oliver from the musical. Can I have some more, please, sir? Well, you can come get some, right? We've got a big force here. See if we can trap them, or maybe we'll get trapped. 1, 2, 3 big armies. 28. This is over 4,000 Sturgians here. And of course, when you look at their armies, look at this fucking shit. This is incredible, right? 108 Drudzinic champions, 66 elite cataphract, a bunch of other tier 5 units. It's amazing what the strength and AI mod does to these armies. And we might be able to catch them with this small army. I don't want to get caught by all those Sturgians at once. Let's see what happens here. He's attacking that force like a dipshit, just barrels in there. He's probably hoping for our help, but we're not necessarily going to help, right? We're going to attack targets of opportunity here.
I think.
What happened here? We got attacked. Okay, so the other 2 armies attacked us, while that other guy, it's like, you hold down that army and we'll take these other 2 on. At least this is a fair fight. The other, if we fought all 3, we might have been in real trouble. And of course, we're probably in trouble anyways. Look at these lords, right? This is incredible. All these guys are pushing 300 weapon skill. Most of them have this little bugged steward skill over 400. So that's why they have these vast armies, right? These guys are easily able to create armies pushing 4,000 or 5,000 troops. Now, Sturgians, of course, we can expect lots of infantry, but obviously also tons and tons of Drudzinic champions. Now, it's a good strategic map for us, right? We've got a nice bracketed closed area there with the bridge. There's some rocks. Obviously, water is really good against cavalry because we can slow them down. We will form defensive lines here. We will flank with cav, horse archers. We've got very few infantry. That's kind of discouraging, in fact, how much infantry we have. You can do a lot more strategy if you have a mixed army, right? When you have like this, it looks like we have 2/3 to 3/4 of our army as cavalry. You're more limited. Although that said, half of our cavalry is probably guys with javelins, and the other half, or 40% of it, is horse archers. So we do have a pretty strategic cavalry army as far as cavalry armies go. And we do have 90 archers. There'll be some master archers in there too, right? We've got high-end archers at this stage. We even have I think we have 12 or 13 Battanian Fiend champs in our kingdom. We've been very slowly recruiting and, of course, holding on to them like they're Bitcoin, precious gems. So 4th and 5th, we will stick in the water over here to mitigate the cavalry speed. We'll give them the 6th Division as a tiny bit of protection, so a line of shock troops, and we'll see what the enemy does here. If we can get the enemy to attack our center, our spear cav, I think we can bottle them up pretty well, and then surround them and hammer them pretty good here. We'll see what they do, though. They may come for our flanks, too. So that's like 40 or 30 Battanian Fiend champs. So some of the other armies in this big army of ours evidently have some Fiend champs. I'm seeing that early on in this campaign, this strengthened AI mod enhanced campaign, and part of the reason for that is because the AI, especially their troops, get massive EXP, and what that means is even if they have the lowest level Battanian Fiend archers, within a very short period of time those guys are high level, right? Because they're getting free EXP for their troops, and that's obviously the other reason we're facing these incredibly tough armies. Otherwise, this would be a whole lot of tier 3, tier 4, tier 2 Sturgians, and we should be able to just obliterate them. Instead, this turns into a slugfest, right? They're going to have tons of elite infantry, tons of Drudzinic champions, tons of everything, right? They might even have Khans guards because they have some of the XXXI cities under control. Sturgia's a major force in this campaign. The main 4 kingdoms that are strong in this campaign: Valandia, Sturgia, for sure Battania is a major threat, and I think at this stage, in addition to those 4, you'd probably say XXXI. XXXI has a pretty strong army too, despite the fact that the Sturgians have been eating up their territory. For some reason, the XXXI have a huge amount of troops. All right, so rotating our cavalry here because they do have a bunch of horse archers. We're waiting for the main body of their troops to come in. It's mostly cavalry. They have a gigantic amount of cavalry. That's been the case consistently when we face the Sturgians here, and it doesn't surprise me it's the case now. Those are probably mostly Khans guards. 84 archers over there, or horse archers over there. Those guys are probably mostly Khans guards. So we'll try a little circle here. We'll circle around the 1st and 3rd infantry. The 6th is right off to the left of it, or off to the right rather. Yeah, it's mostly cavalry about to charge. All right, let's go ahead and start swinging. We'll swing the 8th in, and the 7th we can stick behind them. It'll probably drag a little bit of attention away from the main core here, and that's vital, right? We can minimize how many forces are just cratering in here. Every single one of these fucks is trying to stab me in the face. Fortunately, we have a little banner that reduces melee damage, right? 15%, not hugely, but 15% really helps, right? In a battle like this, I might end up with 15% health at the end of the battle. And if we do, of course, that banner that we're wearing that reduces melee damage that we take will be the reason. All right, so 1st and 3rd is told to charge. The 6th can also charge as well. Those guys just blew a guy off his horse. And now we really got to start working on the guys here that are tangled up on this circle. The circle defense works nicely against huge blocks of cavalry. Here's a lord. Let's see if we can kill this guy. Oops, didn't mean to jump off the horse. I do that a lot. That was a beautiful accidental throw. I didn't mean to kill that guy. I mean, yes, I did. That was excellent skill. Where'd that lord go? I don't see him. There's a maelstrom. Sometimes it's hard to search for a lord when you got this kind of chaos going. We are still using the battle size mod, right? So there's fucking troops everywhere. It's hard to see what's going on. We do have good positions, so archers are on the other side of that little shallow area there, and that's slowing down cavalry trying to get to him, right? Here's the Lord. Look at him swinging that axe 100 miles an hour. God, they're nasty. Die! All right, Simir's down. Gets javelined. Here's another Lord. It's carnage. It's beautiful carnage. Oh, shit. No, don't stall out. Every once in a while, this happens. Come on, baby. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. I apologize for that. Sometimes that happens when you have this big a battle, right? We have the battle size mod, and so there's a full 2,000 units potentially on the battlefield here. That's why every which way I look, there's troops coming in. There's reinforcements pouring in. I mean, it's chaos, but it makes for an amazing scene, right? Hopefully you guys are enjoying the strengthen AI and the battle size mod in combo. Makes for some incredible Bannerlord battles. It's monstrous, right? So now we have two divisions of infantry coming in, the 1st and the 6th, and we're going to reset, right? We devastated that cavalry. I would say we had a 2-to-1 KDR there. A lot of our units are still up, including I see a lot of these sturdy Fiend champs, right? That's going to be a nice asset to have for our kingdom. Even if we have 20, that'll be really helpful, right? We can add those guys to master archers and have a pretty decent infantry lot. We don't have anywhere near the sharpshooters that I would like to have at this stage of a campaign. But that's all right. We're staying in the east. Some people are like, hey, take Quayaz and go east and get some sharpshooters and stuff like that. I'll tell you, actually, I got a second here to explain. I don't want to do that because I've played so much in that portion of the map in my other campaigns that I want to stay kind of in the east and the south for a while because it's new to me, so it'll be a little bit interesting and more tactically unique. But also just a little bit of variety, right? We don't want to have the same army I had in the last campaign. We're going to use more Khazate units in this campaign. We're going to use a lot of Aserai units. So put a pretty good whipping on that first. This is one of theirs, I think. It's hard to tell sometimes with the Khans guards. A lot of my Khans guards. They'll have the little orb above their head, but when they're moving that fast, it's hard to tell. And again, I'm still searching for the balance for that, so that these guys, you can clearly see the Allied forces without it being this horrific bright orange thing above their head. I see infantry coming in. Let's kite these bitches. We've got all these archers. We've got all this space and hills behind us here. Let's move archer divisions back. 3 different archer divisions in sort of sprays, sort of a big circular spray around the incoming forces. Right, we can get the 6th division off to the enemy's left, our right. The 1st division holding the center. Those are both infantry divisions. We can get rid of these horse archers by charging them with the 7th and 8th. This 3rd division I'm going to use as bait, just to sort of absorb arrows, throwing weapons and whatnot, so they can hold a square there. This fucking guy trying to hit people with javelins. I got one too for you, bud. Right in the shoulder. Let's keep backing the infantry up here so our archers can get some damage. God, there's a lot of death spam for some reason. What's happening? What units are dying? The 1st and 6th, those guys are safe. I don't understand. Oh, you know what? That's the 8th, huh? God damn it, I told them to attack horse archers, and of course they're getting mauled by the enemy in the water. Stupid ass AI. There's no horse archers in the water, you stupid fucks. Get over here. Well, those losses are inevitable, but let's bore in on these fucks, right? Cole is definitely going to fight a lot of combat in this campaign. There's a pretty good chance he gets killed in combat. The way I'm just wading in. Guys are trying to kill me with an axe. Feels like a horror movie. But we're also going to kill plenty of guys with our own axe, right? Cole doesn't give a fuck. He's got a banner that reduces his melee damage. He's young. He's virile. He's got the confidence of youth, right? So we're going to swallow up this first little tranche of infantry here before we wade into the rest of it. The Sturgians made a big mistake here. Their units are really spread out, and that's going to be fatal. All their units are tough too. Of course, that's the thing. You just don't know it until you play with the Strengthen AI mod. All of the units on the battlefield are tougher, and that's because they have all these perks, right? They move faster, they parry more, they have plus 30 to two-handed skill and plus 50 to fucking endurance. And I'm exaggerating, but the point is that they have high-level lords, and so all of the infantry is that much stronger. It's basically stronger than any infantry I've ever faced before. Everybody blocks everything. It just seems like they're a level or 3 up from vanilla Bannerlord. And it's already hard, right? We're facing just fucking endless rows, seemingly, of heroic line breakers, heavy veteran axemen, legionnaires everywhere. I mean, kicked him and slashed him with my axe, and this guy doesn't die. Die! Jesus. All right, we got archers here. Fuck, I got my shield out a quarter second late. Got drilled by a javelin. They got some archers there. We're just going to keep our lines here for now. I've got enough archers here that are just sort of pounding the troops in the water. I don't really want to wade into the water quite yet. There's a time for it, and that might be 30 seconds from now, but I just want to sort of pull back our lines here, reassess, and see what we're facing, right? See what I have. I like to do these little status checks every once in a while. And it's an advantage, right? It's an advantage just to look around in slow-mo and catch your breath. But, you know, we'll take a few advantages. This campaign's going to be plenty hard. I don't mind having an advantage or two. More line breakers that want some. Of course, they look at it. Just fucking parrying every third swing. It's nasty. All right. Let's get these guys off their horse. I'm going to get an infantry division here. I'm actually doing this to steal some horses. These infantry can rescue me from the guys chasing me. We can get these guys back on their horses. I just wanted to borrow a horse here. Archers in the middle. This is almost an F1, F3 situation, right? We have the enemy in the water. Their infantry is getting surrounded. We've got like 100 archers pounding them from the edge of the water. And it's a situation here where you want to get aggressive. We want the enemy in the water like this, although their archers in the water they have some advantage, right? Because, of course, it's harder for our units to close. He says, whoa, as he cuts the guy's head off. Whoa! Cole's playing the hero again, right? We're just going to clean up some of the messes. We're gonna ass jam some of these one-on-ones as our companions and other troops are getting railed. He's capped it two-handed at 288, so, you know, we're not going to get any faster with it, but that also means I'm going to get very used to the timing of this axe, right? This axe has good reach, and it's pretty fast. It's not really fast. I might get a bearded axe at some point for the speed, but I'm enjoying the combination of reach and speed on a horse. Yeah, let's charge this infantry in the water. We definitely have a numerical advantage there because we just killed off a lot of those forces. Let's pour in here and get aggressive. Getting shot. Maybe this is a mistake. You're going to make mistakes as a commander. You know what you do? You keep going, right? You adjust. We got chaos here. I'm getting shot. Nobody said this is easy. Get archers spread out here on the enemy's left flank. It's our right flank. And the reason I'm doing that, of course, is that our troops this way can move up with cover fire, right? They'll get into position there, and any of their units that are coming up into that fray are going to be getting sprayed by arrows from the side, right? It's going to be highly effective in sort of suppressing units pouring in on us. It's always nice to have an archer flank pushing in. Now, we still have an archer division shooting, right? So I've got one archer division shooting and the other one is flanking. I can actually divide a third archer division here. The more archer divisions you have, really the better. God damn, these fucking horsemen with the spear. I might ban spears in this campaign soon. Tell all my companions, put your fucking spear down. I fucking hate spears. Of course, when you don't have a shield, you hate spears, right? I'm reduced to jumping. It's very difficult to parry or block shields. We got infantry just overwhelming on this side. You know what? Where the enemy's reforming right into the wake of our archers. Right where I put the 5th Division there. Let's push these guys. They will get slaughtered. They will literally flee right, or not flee. I'm almost certain they're regrouping. It'd be amazing if they routed already. This is not routing behavior, though. They're regrouping, though, right into the firing line of our archers, right? I just sent like 150 archers right there. The timing is going to be close, but we have archers setting up on their infantry. This is beautiful. These guys are almost too close. Like, they're right in the face of some of this infantry. We've got like a collision. It's almost like the AI and me both told our troops to go to the exact same spot. But I have infantry behind me, right? So even though I just looked down, I don't have any health, like literally zero. We're just going to roll with it, right? Let's get these archers spread out even more on the enemy's flank here. I don't see any archer support for them. So they're going to be throwing weapons at us here, throwing axes and whatnot. And we can get cavalry sort of in front of them, right? I can stick the 3rd Cav Division basically right in the midst of the enemy. These guys here can now all start shooting, right? I just told them to stop, and they will just start spraying the enemy with arrows. And of course, if they charge us, we'll pull back, right? We'll kite. I don't know where the fuck my Cav screen wall is. I told it like 3 times to get the fuck up here. Maybe they're on the other side of the battlefield. Of course, I have no health, so I'm just going to hold my shield up here and hope I don't get killed. We do have that infantry that's sort of pouring in on the enemy's right. It's our left flank. You can see our guys there in a fracas, and I'm going to join them, I think. Here comes some cavalry. They're taking their sweet-ass time. Fuck it. Cole's a fucking maniac. He's a barbarian. He's learned from Guzid, right? My man Guzid just wants war with everybody. It's not very smart, but man, is it fucking valiant, right? He's a fucking total badass. And just like Cole here with no health, he wades in. He risks it all. And of course, he can get killed doing this shit too. We just don't give a fuck, right? We're going to show his troops true heroism here, or reckless abandon. You can call it what you want. This fucking dipshit with his spear. Cole just feels young and virile, right? This is like the very definition of virile. Like nothing stops this guy. He just shreds everything. His axe whirligigs until the enemy gets fucking obliterated. Come get some! What is that? The Duke Nukem? Or the, God, what is it? There's a series with this. It was a really bad, corny series with the... this comedic guy, and he's like, I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum, right? He'd say shit like that. That's how Cole is treating this campaign, and we've got this Sturgeon force completely flustered, right? They're overwhelmed. Their infantry's just kind of standing there. Frankly, they look like they're in shock. They're not doing normal AI behavior. They're just standing there while our infantry just bores in and kills them. We've got archers up here adding to the fracas. And see if we get Cole killed here. But it's like he's invulnerable, right? Every time there's a sword swing, he dodges it, kills guys. This is precisely the kind of battle we needed before we become our own kingdom, right? His people are now fully behind Cole. They feel like he's the chosen one, the Messiah, whatever, choose your word, right? He just, I'll probably get speared here at the end, and Cole is killed in battle, right? That's a real thing. It's called life. It's called reality. Get killed by an Otruk. But what a glorious victory for us here, right? The other battle will probably auto-resolve, right? It was, what was it, 1,100 or 1,000 Sturgians that were fighting that other force. It's a weird situation. We have an Aserai force fighting right next to us, and instead, we're in it's like there's a whole nother fight raging on the other side of the hill. But we will deal with those guys now. Whoops. Well, we do get trucked to the ground. He didn't make a noise, though. If your character gets killed, usually he goes, ah, and yells out. So I think he survived. And it got eerily quiet. What's happened here? Here we go. Victory. Fucking beautiful. And nobody died, right? No deaths for Cole. That's a great thing. Almost a 3-to-1 KDR against an elite force. That's an extraordinarily good result, right? We're starting to obtain some remarkable battle results here. Yes, we'll take some Sturgeon heroic line breakers. We are recruiting prisoners. I know some guys want me to just stick to Aserai units. We're not going to do that. Not in this brutally difficult campaign. It's already hard enough. We don't need any additional unnecessary handicaps. I mean, we got death for all. The enemy's lords are enhanced. Their armies are enhanced. There's so many advantages our enemy has here. There's no reason for us just to stick to, like looters only and bandits only. I think we will betray this Aserai force. No reason to rescue them, right? Well, let's just let them be captured, and then if there are any prisoners, we'll be able to take them. Except I need to get on this force here. I don't know if I'm close enough to engage in combat. God damn it. Let's see if we can send Arwa to chase after them. They're getting away. The prisoners are getting away. Get them. Why is she moving so fucking slow? God damn it. Oh, she got him. Nice. Nicely done. Catch him. Our fucking attack dog, Arwa. That's our mother, actually. She's a savage. And, man, that's a lot of casualties. Oh man, that's horrible. That's the third son of Wazoo, Kalharn. He was our scout. All of our scouts are dying. We had Check the Alone earlier. She's all happy. One of her sons is killed. Again, you save us. There's your grieving mother for you in the age of the medieval world. She's like, oh yeah, I had 6 sons. I lose one. It's all right. It's less people to feed. She's not mourning at all. But that is a bummer, right? We're going to have to now, I'm going to have to start training another another companion as a scout, right? And of course, I'm just thinking strictly, here I am with absolutely no feeling at all. This is one of my brothers dying. Here, I'll roleplay a little bit. Man, Kalharn, you weak bitch. You should have fucking blocked that arrow that hit you right in the eyeball. We'll light you on fire now in disgrace of your fucking loss to battle. No, of course. We will mourn appropriately here. Look at all the mourning heads. They're like solemnly looking down at the poor dude as we light him on fire. And we will move on, right? Fortunately, we have other brothers coming. They're going to be coming of age during this campaign. We still have Ragged, but we do need to make another scout. We either need to hire a scout companion or we need to make another scout because Cole has very poor scouting skills. We dump some of these armies here because we got to get to Poros. I'm encumbered by armies, right? The more armies you have, the slower you move, and it's a long ways to Poros here. So we'll dump some of these guys here and make our way there. This fucking Khazate force. You're caught, dude. This dipshit. You play with fire, dude, you get scorched. Hopefully we don't lose another person here. It's ultra bad to lose troops using the auto resolve. That feels especially wrong. Like the battle didn't even happen really, and Kolharn gets killed. But it is what it is, right? This is part of the game. So we will roll on here. Fortunately, we've got plenty of family members, right? Between our companions and family, I think we have 23 or 24 total companions and whatnot. So it's okay, right? We'll just roll with the punches. And I think I'm going to save you guys a few minutes here. It's going to take us a couple, 3 minutes to run over to Poros to defend against whatever is there. It is probably a large force, right? There was almost 1,000 units at Poros. So it's very likely that whatever is attacking there is huge. We're hemorrhaging major gold here. We're losing almost 12,000 a day. So we've got to use this army, right? Our army is huge. It's vast. It's very strong. And I don't mean the 1,800. I mean the units that are part of our own clan. We've got lots of palace guards and master archers. We just hit 300 medicine skill. That's a nice thing. So we need combat, right, for this army. Otherwise, they don't earn their pay, right? It's costing us so much money, daily gold change. We need to get some productive cities here. Sanala is besieged by the Aserai. Look at these assholes. It's almost like they have turrets, like military turrets. They just randomly spit out a name that they're going to attack. Let's attack Sanala. Let's attack Rotai. These cities are hundreds of miles away from the action down here, and they're engaging down there. So, oh shit! Talk about a huge army traveling to Morenia Castle to besiege. So I probably will show you this part here before we get to Poros. Evidently, we've got our work cut out for us here. We're going to have to handle whatever's at Poros and then get our asses back to Morenia here to fight a gigantic Botanian army. I told you our Sultan was a madman, didn't I? He's fighting everybody. And now we'll see what we got here at Poros. Morenia, they have not began the siege there yet. Lavinia Castle. This just lit up. The whole frontier is on fire, of course, because we're at war with everybody. This dipshit. The Sturgians are sieging. God, we just destroyed all the Sturgians, and they're still coming to town here. The Western Empire is on Poros here. And again, this fucking madman Sultan Guzid is just at war with everybody. Now, we've actually taken the lead there in the little power bar over the Sturgians, so maybe he's crazy like a fox, right? We're starting to wear the Sturgians out. And this Western Empire force, this is one of those situations I hesitate to show you guys these battles, right? We're going to be favored. This is probably going to be an army we can blast through. Although that said, 86 elite cataphract, right? 62 elite Manavliatons, a bunch of crossbowmen, sergeant crossbow. They even have Botanian Fiend champs. I think I will show you this, and let's see if we can't improv some sort of unique tactics here. See what we can do. We're facing a very mixed army of Western Empire forces. Get some units assigned as usual. I'm going to reassign these divisions, and while I'm doing that, I'm just sort of brainstorming some different things we can try. We've got this high slope on the right. I think I see horse archers out there. They might even have fucking cons guards. It seems like every kingdom, even kingdoms nowhere near the Khazate, has cons guards. So let's try You know what? Let's try a ring defense on the left, and we will do a swirling kill box on the right. And if that sounds like the recipe to a dessert or something like that, it is going to be kind of sweet. This is going to be sweet if we can pull this off. This is extremely complex. The swirling kill box is where you effectively move your troops as the horse archers and their units are following you, and you do it ahead of time, right? We're skating to where the puck is being hit. It's going to require a lot of concentration. It'll be difficult for me to narrate the entire thing, and of course it can go badly in a hurry too. I can have egg on my face if I don't stay ahead of the dance moves here. So second cav in a circle, first and third inside it, and you know what? Let's put the fourth crossbow. I'll probably have to move that circle up once the battle starts. I don't think they have great line of sight. We've got these hills and ridges here. The line of sight isn't terrific. I'm going to have to get down to the ground level before we can really make this start to work. But again, the idea is we're going to be shifting our entire formation. Think of it in a counterclockwise motion. Not the circle, but the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Let's see if I can narrate through this. All right, advancing the first circle, or the only circle. We'll move the first and third inside it and try to get the crossbow. I can't even see. There's fucking trees in my way, so we'll sneak the crossbow with inside there. 5th and 6th, we will stretch across this ridge, and of course that's our flanking fire. Skirmishers, shock troops, archers, crossbow. 7th and 8th, we're going to position here on the enemy's left, our right. The 8th Corps at the beginning we're going to use to block because they have a massive amount of heavy cavalry coming in here. So we'll have to do a little bit of combat before we start this kill box. Now, you can't really do a kill box ordinarily against this kind of a cavalry charge, right? The whole map, it looks like the whole screen is cavalry, but I'm going to show you at least a variation of it here. The 6th Corps can be told to charge. There's some shock troops mixed in there. They'll do some damage. The 1st and 3rd, of course, they also are going to be fighting inside this circle. And the key to the circle is that the enemy cavalry in here is moving really slowly, right? A lot of them are actually stopped at the edges, and so they're being smoked by our crossbow, right? You can see the death spam is highly in our favor. Now, that's what I'm worried about. There's a giant vanguard of the enemy. All right, so let's pull this 8th Corps back. In fact, we're going to pull all these units back. Fuck, I think I just moved the 2nd. That is highly suboptimal. We'll deal with that, though. Let's pull the 5th and the 6th up here. The 7th, we're going to swirl around behind the enemy. The 8th Corps, we're going to continue to pull this way because we want those guys out of harm's way. I've got a couple of my units confused, so I'm stopping the 4th Division. I told you this was going to be difficult. All right, so 5th and 6th swiveling around to our flank. The 7th, we're going to drive in here. Now, here's what we're going to do with the 8th. That line of crossbow and archers, we're going to give them the 8th Corps to shoot at while we tuck the archers inside behind them. In other words, giving them some fire protection from all those archers. Now, it's messy. There's a lot of deaths initially here, but I think once we get this swirling, it's going to work. The 1st and 3rd, I'm starting to pull this direction, of course, because eventually we plan on swallowing up the enemy infantry. We want to weaken them first, though, right? So we're pounding them with horse archers. We're pounding them with all these archers up here. This is the 5th and 6th. Very difficult to navigate, like I said, but we now have the dance moves. I'm starting to get ahead of it. The 7th Corps is beautifully positioned, right? They are just absolutely firing right into the back of the enemy here. The 1st and 3rd, I think they must have kept charging. I tried to position them, so we'll pull them back a little bit. I think we'll be able to save most of those guys. One of the keys to this strategy, of course, is keeping your cav moving. The other units are all kited, so if your cav, as long as your cav is moving, the enemy infantry really can't do much but swing an occasional axe or manavliaton or whatever at them. The enemy has cavalry in here as well. It's very messy. This is definitely not a situation where you're going to get a perfect battle, but instead of suffering 1,000 casualties, we're aiming for maybe 500 or 300. 300 would be a great goal. All right, so our cavalry's kind of trucking through their infantry, causing some chaos, but this is the key, right? We now have the 5th and 6th over here pounding the enemy. The 7th Corps is firing away this whole time, and we have these 2 cav divisions, which we can use to ultimately swallow the enemy up. Now, they still have cavalry getting in our way, and you see our own cavalry is getting kind of snagged in their infantry division. But these guys are throwing javelins, and they're ready they're awaiting the order to kill, right? They're like, come on, tell me to kill. The 2nd Corps, I forgot to pull out a line formation, so these guys ostensibly have been running around in a circle, but now we can commit to disposing of this infantry, right? The 1st, 3rd, 6th, 8th, and what else can we get in here? I think the 5th. Well, that's an archer division. Anyways, it's 5 or 6 divisions that we just charged with, and they're right in between 2 different archers. The horse archers on one side and the 5th and 6th right behind me here. Right, those guys are, you can see the bolts raining down here, and the enemy is being liquidated wholesale. And that's the flush of green I was hoping for, right? These are elite infantry, and we are just disposing of them like they're fucking recycled goods, right? Straight to the recycling plant. Even this dipshit with the flag holding it up in my face insolently. We still are being blocked from the archers, right? The archers across there that are trying to shoot us are really not very effective because of our cav line there. The 8th Corps is doing a good job of taking the brunt and holding up their shields. A little bit of heavy blows here at the end as some of their guys evidently want some. We can start to push our 8th Corps now through the enemy ranks. And the reason I'm doing that, of course, is it's a shield and shock approach. We now have shock troops pushing in on the enemy ranks. Now with this massive infantry, these guys are roaring. A lot of these guys are very healthy, right? Because we crushed the enemy so bad there. Anything that comes up to us at this stage is going to be obliterated. They're coming in piecemeal, and we have like 300 men. These fucking Sergeant Crossbow are so savage. Yeah, I gotta get out of here. These guys will kill you in a heartbeat. Fuckers. Kick you in the face. I think I kicked that guy to death. But anybody coming up to our lines at this stage, it's just a suicide mission, right? There's 200 or 300 infantry just in a giant Zerg following me. And we, of course, obliterated their elite troops, right? Their cav got melted. Their archers, I'm not sure where they are. They might be running. I would run if I were them. And that's basically the battle. I mean, we can move up here. We'll move up our archer divisions. God, this is fast. But that's the swirling kill box, right? This is a very destructive tactic. It's a highly advanced tactic. The kill box itself is already difficult, but to do it against a mixed army like this requires a lot of experience, timing, all kinds of factors, right? Just like dodging that fuck's arrow, then you slash the Battanian Fiendchamp across the cheek with your axe. That'll leave a mark. So cutting through the rest of their infantry that, is very honorably fighting to the death here. You got to give them credit. I mean, they're digital pixels, but if these were real men, you'd be like, you'd be nodding your head as you cut them down like, well, they fought like men at least. Or they fought like idiots. I guess it depends on your perspective, right? The smartest guys are the ones that ran 4 minutes ago. It seems like this battle's over. There's a handful of guys, though, that I see holding up their shields, so there's a chance here the enemy's going to fight to the death. We better prepare for that. I will blast through this, though. I'm trying to make these battles short and sweet. If there's an interesting tactic or something like that we can try, I'm very happy with how that came off. I would imagine we have less than 500 casualties. Of course, the battle's not quite over, but it's all but over, right? The enemy is backpedaling. They look like a boxer who's been rocked. And they're looking for their corner guy to say, okay, you don't have to fight anymore, dude, if you want. You can just, you can go to a knee. That's basically what the enemy should do here. We'll get a little farming of our one-handed skill. I really have been neglecting Cole's one-handed skill. It's going up with, like, every kill because I just haven't been using it, right? I'm just so much more comfortable with an axe. It's pretty neglected. Now, it benefits me to use my one-handed, right? Because, that little movement there is them attacking. So they do want some. That was them deciding that they want to fight. That little stutter. I don't know if you guys picked that up. I picked it up almost like someone told me, hey, the enemy's fighting. So we'll cut these guys down here and end their misery as well. Some brave soldiers. But it benefits Cole to increase his one-handed skill. Why? Well, of course, his one-handed skill gives perks to whatever division he's in, whether it's the 8th Corps, 1st Corps, 6th Corps, however it develops. There's a chance I move Cole to the 3rd Corps, and he's part of the shock troop divisions, right? Athleticism, two-handed skills, and 353 casualties, 363 casualties, killed one of their nobles. We'll call that a success. All right, I got to do a little bit of housekeeping here at Poros. I don't think I'll drag you through that. This episode, again, I keep getting sort of intercepted. I keep trying to throw the touchdown to independence and creating our own kingdom, and the next thing you know, there's 2,500 Western Empire fucks and a gigantic mass of Sturgians and an even larger, huge army of Battanians. So apologies, but we keep getting interrupted here, and we've got to go tend to the kingdom, right? Otherwise, we're gonna create a kingdom and have like one city under siege, and it's gonna be the end, right? But we'll get Cole will get beheaded, and that'll be that. We pick up some nice Nike footwear here for Cole. I think those are the best boots in the game. Legendary, whatever the fuck, scaled boots. And really kind of unexciting loot overall. I was really hoping for some nice armor pieces at this stage. For those that saw the episode of How to Get Rich, one of my mercenary series, he got a fucking legendary tier 6 piece of armor. We haven't even got a fine feat. Actually, I haven't got a single piece of tier 6 armor as a drop yet, I think, in this entire campaign. So a little strange. The RNG's kind of working against us there, but enough bitching. We will move on. It looks like our clan members are dumping prisoners into the dungeon here at Poros en masse. We're going to gather these guys up and take them to the ransom broker. The garrison at least is satisfactory for now. It's reduced, of course, but we're going to do a little trafficking here, medieval style, right? Take all these people here. You guys are all free for 185,000 gold. That's much needed money, of course, to become our own kingdom here soon. We're going to need all that money, right? We're up to 1 million, and it's time to head to Morenia Castle to defend. Hey, we got another son coming of age here, Sane. I guess that's how we'll pronounce it. We need a new scout, so this guy might be voluntold to be a scout there, bud. He looks like a scout. He's got his Arabic gear on here. He looks like a merchant. He's aloof, too. That's perfect for a scout, right? He likes to be on his own. He's probably an introvert. We'll bring him to the party and start to spec him as a scout. But I also want to lighten up this army for 2 reasons. First, we got to move fast to get to that castle that's under siege. And second, I'm hoping some of these troops will sort of defend the Poros area here, right? If they get attacked, or if the villages are getting attacked, those guys will be able to help. The other reason is I don't think we need all those troops to crush these Battanians at Morenia, right? We have Lavania is also under siege. We have enough. Wow, there's a huge garrison inside there. This has been another one of the castles we've been stockpiling elite troops. That's part of the reason our daily gold change is rocketing down, right? Even though we have highly profitable cities, Poros and Danustica, the Western Empire is going to give us peace. The kingdom's decision is not relevant anymore. So they must have made that decision, and I guess the decision is more war. Look at this shit. Poros is instantly under besieged by the Valandians. We got to have independence here. This is insane, right? We crush a Sturgian force. We crush a Western Empire force. There's a huge force of Battanians here. We're going to be able to completely obliterate these guys with this castle. But then we got to race over to Poros. And, there's no surprise at this stage. I was trying to make it spontaneous and sort of dramatic for you fellas, but we need to become our own kingdom here so we can have peace. This insane sultan of ours fighting the whole map and refusing to give anybody peace is going to get us all killed. So, of course, we're sneaking in here. This castle siege is a formality. I know it looks like it might be an interesting siege defense here. Fellows that watch the channel all the time know that we're going to be able to obliterate our opponent here. We don't even need half these troops. If we had 500, the Battanians would be doomed. This is such a strong castle for defense. We've got a fire catapult. We've got a ballista. It's actually, they're not in the worst positions. I can switch that ballista. Those guys will get smoked there, so we'll just bump those guys over. But look at the downward slope of this courtyard, right? We've got a mass of defenders, of course, because there's like 1,300 of us between us and the garrison and the militia. The enemy has no chance here. So this is good. I'm going to blaze through this. I will talk a little bit more about castle defense and city defense. We're not going to be using the auto-resolve portion of it very often. And that's because, frankly, it's sort of cheese. It's too easy to defend using that. So we'll do manual defenses, or I will just skip through them. In fact, I might even just skip over the narration of this castle afterwards. We shall see. We'll see if it's interesting at all. There are a huge amount of Battanians here. All right, so 4th Corps, we're a mix of infantry and archers, and I do that so there's a few infantry on the wall here for the inevitable ladders, right? They're going to be bringing ladders up to the walls, and we will have those infantrymen help and support those archers. Down in the valley here, you can do all kinds of formations. The key is to give them the slope angle to that front door, right? You can do like a line where it stretches up onto the stairs. Of course, the guys on the stairs have an even better view of that courtyard door. However you set this, as long as you have copious troops here behind your infantry divisions, copious archers especially, and no archers on the walls, right, apart from that 4th Corps, these guys are a little bit vulnerable there, but they will be scorching the enemy with arrow fire, shooting straight down into that courtyard door. The 3rd Corps is pretty large, mostly shock troops. We'll use them to attack periodically. And here's what I can do. Let's see, with the 7th Corps, I can put these guys at the very back wall. And this 70, 60 something, 96 guys actually can act as both a reserve area to retreat to. And all those guys will be able to fire down. And a lot of those guys can still shoot at the door. And I may move them later. 8th Corps just again spread out in a big packed mass of troops. These troops overall are pretty tight this battle, and I'm still sort of, I want to say, perfecting this castle siege. This castle is already a castle that we've been highly successful before defending. Now at this stage we're just trying to, you know, do a little editing on effectively a masterpiece, right? This castle's so easy to defend. Hopefully you fellas are following along with a lot of these tips for this castle. This castle is a very prominent, and I'm just having these guys move closer and stop, right? We'll move them kind of closer to the enemy so they can shoot. In fact, immediately they're actually shooting at that trebuchet guy down there. That's awesome. And I don't think they can be fired on down there. We'll jump on this catapult here, although I put it in the center, right? Okay, so it's the wrong location. This castle here, there's probably 8 to 10 total castles, locations throughout Calradia where this exact castle or very similar castle model will be present. And if you learn how to defend this, basically no matter who you're playing, including of course all the Imperials, you're going to have yourself a Helm's Deep, a place to retreat to if you're being overwhelmed like this, and 3,400 Battanians are just going to get obliterated here. I'll be surprised if they kill 500 of our troops. They might kill less than 200, 300, right? This is just such an easy castle to defend. Now, I'm doing this just to speed it up, but you don't have to do this. I'm going to fire. He's definitely Wazoo's son, right? He's firing fucking flaming fireballs out there and burning villages and shit like that. We're just going to destroy their siege tower here, if I can get the angle on it. There we go. Because this is just going to expedite the siege, right? They're going to be forced to come through the main door or the ladders, and it's going to be just an obliteration of any of the troops that get through there. They didn't have a chance to win this siege before that. Even if that tower arrives, the enemy would still be obliterated. We can get a couple shots in here on these fuck archers that are shooting at our guys. Of course, the enemy is stacked here. It's all tier 5 and 6. Again, with this strength and AI mod, it's a different universe we're playing in, right? This is Bannerlord Hell mode, and I'm enjoying every minute of it, right? Captain, what was it? Captain, what the fuck? How can I not remember it? He was a pirate named, damn it, I just can't remember. Yeah, you get old, you forget this shit. Of course, I study a lot of stuff. It's hard to remember everything. But this guy, this was a pirate. Black something. Anyways, there was a pirate who, this guy was such a savage bad. I think it was Blackbeard. What he did on his ship, right, his band of criminals, pirates were essentially just organized crime. This guy, they would have essentially a ring of troops with somewhat dulled, but, god damn it, somewhat dulled, but still, you know, still sharp and pointy weapons and whips and clubs and stuff like that, and everybody would be allowed to beat on you while another guy essentially kept the time. And the person who was able to survive this beating, this hazing longest, right, these guys are trying to show their toughness, they, you know, effectively won the event, and they got a sprig of you know, they got a big thing of alcohol. I'm kind of butchering the story here, forgive me. A big thing of rum is what I think usually they got. Oh shit, sorry dude, blowing his fucking defenses up over there, trying to multitask here. Anyways, this guy, Blackbeard, was famous for saying, well, he would consistently win, not every time, but most of the time, he would say, I can deal with hell the best. That's a long way of getting to the point that that's what this Bannerlord campaign feels like, right? This feels like Bannerlord on hell mode. And especially right now with our psychotic, insane, we're not even going to act like this. Our insane Sultan right now, Guzid. I mean, this guy's my bro, right? Him and I, we drink mead or whatever the fuck. We drink Arabic alcohol together. But this guy's fighting everybody. with all these enhanced troops and enhanced lords, it really is kind of a death match. And I don't know why he's doing it, right? I don't know if the AI is bugged here or what. The Aserai clearly aren't able to fight all 6 kingdoms at the same time. And when I've asked for peace, he's like, no, definitely not. Why would we do that? And it's like, because you're going to get destroyed otherwise. Nevertheless, I digress, right? We're going to have to form our own kingdom because of this. And it's a really odd circumstance, right? I don't want to say I scripted this campaign, although some things I had an idea. I wanted to do this and I wanted to do that. I was hoping, obviously, Wazoo had sons that could marry off. There's certain things that you're sort of expecting to occur. And obviously, one of the things I was hoping is to have a very devious, intellectually advanced approach to becoming our own kingdom, right? Really fucking over the Sultan, whether it was Unquid or whoever, and becoming our own kingdom in a really diabolical way. Well, those plans have been fucking basically cast aside here by the fact that we now need to become our own kingdom so we don't get killed, right? Our insane Sultan is just fighting everybody. What's really odd about that too, and ironic, is at the beginning of this campaign, anybody who's watched the whole thing probably remembers that we had a pacifist for a Sultan, right? Unquid at the beginning, it was just peace with everybody. There was a period of almost a year, 80 game days, where there was nobody at war with the Aserai. And I can't explain that either. I don't think this is the strength in AI mod affecting anything, as we just disassemble these Batanians, quite literally. They're being dismembered left and right. Like I said, I wasn't going to narrate through this entire process. And again, I'll probably be including it now just because I'm including some of my thoughts on this campaign. It's been really interesting that this is why we're going to be making our own kingdom, is to get away from this psychotic, insane Guzid, right? This guy wants war with everybody. As soon as we leave the kingdom, he's going to be in real trouble, right? Because we're the main reason that they're not conquered already, right? We fought so many big battles in the last... just 2 or 3 episodes, 4 episodes, bombing us with fucking trebuchets, that if Guzid didn't have our help, I guess he'd be begging for peace, right? Down to 1 city and 1 castle or something like that. But they already have very few possessions and they're just at war with everybody. You would understand it maybe if they had like 5 cities and 8 castles and the Aserai were getting, some hubris because they are gaining a head of steam. But they're getting their asses kicked, and they still want war with everybody. It's pretty incredible. It's really amusing, actually. I think it's hilarious. The AI just doing AI type things. It's just like that Tesla accelerating into the wall there where it killed those people. This is just AI, right? The bugs haven't been worked out yet. In our lifetime, we will have highly functioning AI. That's amazing for our life, and probably also negative in some other areas. But right now, it's pretty bad. Especially, of course, games like Bannerlord, they don't really have true AI, right? This is pre-programmed AI, and it's basically just following a sequence of commands. And so there's not much originality to it. There's not much variation to it. There's very subtle differences from battle to battle. Well, Keep Siege is going pretty close to how I expected, right? Siege Tower is gone over here. On the other side, it's just ladders, and they're being absolutely shredded. They've stopped sending guys through the front door. They've got a huge amount of troops piled up on the right as I'm looking at it here. And the AI does that, I think, for 2 reasons. Number one, they just get stuck. All those units are like waiting for a ladder, and they're getting killed. As soon as they put their head up over that ladder, they get killed. The other reason I think it's happening is that the AI does do some calculations and say, okay, that's not working. Let's try something else, right? You'll notice that in Siege, that you'll have an area stopped up, and all of a sudden the enemy will start pouring in a different location. And that's pretty decent, coding. If that's truly the coding, that's a nice learning process for the AI, but there's not a whole lot of dynamism here, right? Now, no human opponent could take this castle either. Look at what they're up against, right? A really smart human opponent, of course, what they would do here is they would get ready to charge 1,000 units through the front gate as fast as they could, the initial wave and shield wall, and then the rest of them coming behind. And as soon as they were in, they would ignore the square, right? A really, really smart human AI here would simply go right by the square. And even more particular, if I was in control, I would tell all the guys here to spread out. I would say, don't choose the same target. If you see somebody else pounding on an archer, find some other archer here. We're doing 3.5x speed. This will get you your skill level up if you can accurately fight on 3x speed here. So, you know, you would have your units spread out. And I hope this is a thing one day, whether it's us playing together, fellas, you know, where it's 200 of you and 200 enemies fighting against us. Or what I really hope is that it's 20 of you or whatever, 10 or 15 of you enthusiasts, you know, the guys that are probably the most experienced on here playing other players, where we each have 50 or 150 troops or something like that in a big battle, right? I'm getting a little sloppy here just because this siege is really over. Anyways, that would be amazing if we each had maybe 100 troops would be optimal. Maybe 10 to 15 actual players on both sides commanding a unit just like this with the sword or whatever, an axe. And then 100 units sort of balanced out in open field battles where the 10 of you had to coordinate together to obliterate the enemy. I think that would be amazing. You know, we would probably have to use TeamSpeak or whatever the fuck app they use today. Maybe they use Discord for chatting during battles. I don't know these kind of things. It's been a long time since I played online games like that. But I think we would have some advantages here. Number one, because we're using a lot of tactics that a lot of players in Bannerlord don't use, right? They're not familiar even with these concepts. They'd just be coming in with fucking infantry and shield wall and archers probably behind and very, very sort of run-of-the-mill tactics. And we'd be doing all kinds of surround and drown fucking flanking and shield and shock and kill boxes, and the enemy would be like, what the fuck? How come why are they doing that? Their infantry's running back. Wow, we're getting killed. And it would just be a fucking destructive assault. You know, really fucking opening people's eyes to tactics. There's nothing more eye-opening to tactics than having your shit pushed in by other players. And I can speak from personal experience playing a game called Dark Age of Camelot. It was like a century ago. It was almost last century, all jokes aside. This was a game a little bit like Bannerlord, in fact. They're very, very... look at these guys are outside the castle. I guess they fell out there. It's similar to Bannerlord in that it's a medieval combat game. You're running around. Now there's magic. You can like heal your units and stuff like that. And you don't have the ability to control hundreds of units. But what's cool about, or what was cool about Dark Age of Camelot is that all the players, or almost all the players in massive sieges like this were actual players, right? So you'd have hundreds on hundreds in huge sprawling battles and you're coordinating, right? We use TeamSpeak. I was often... one of the commanders of 6 to 10 parties, right? So you're commanding 80 guys or something like that, and all kinds of communication. We had rogues and assassins out there doing scouting for us because, of course, intel is one of the most important things about any kind of battle like that, any kind of game like that. And it was really fun. This would be a whole new level, right? Where you're commanding 100 or 200 units. Maybe there's 5 of us with 200 units each. That would be kind of something I would be interested as well. I know some guys are like, hey, just join that online league, the MBRE or whatever. It's mostly European fellas, I think, and they have these huge, beautiful battles where it's like 500 on 500. It looks really interesting. And by the way, this is just a pillar defense, right? You put squares on both sides here. The enemy has no choice but to come right through the middle. If they attack the squares, of course, they're dead. If they charge right through the middle, we charge with our shock troops, the 3rd Division. And we're just leveling up our skills here. This castle cannot be taken. Okay, so that little side narration aside, you can see this battle is over. These battles are really interesting. It's like 300 players on 400 players, and they are doing some tactics. You see them forming shield walls and flanking and stuff like that. But that doesn't interest me very much, partly because I'm not great at battle. My interest is in command, right? I would be a good commander for something like that, but I don't want to run around with a sword and get destroyed by young guys with incredible reflexes. That's not my thing. And I'm much more interested in the larger tactical side of things. There are many players that are far better than me at Bannerlord, whether it's using their sword and axe and parrying and all shit, kinds of shit like that. But I'd challenge just about anybody in tactics, right? I would be happy to take on people in a 500 versus 500 custom battle, for example. Pick up some of these troops. We'll just take. You know what? These are all free troops. I think we'll just take all these guys here. We're down some troops from that siege defense. And we're gonna, I guess we'll run back to Poros, right? It's never ending here. We're gonna end it because we're gonna fucking declare ourselves a kingdom here soon. And as soon as we do that, believe it or not, we're gonna have some war, but it won't be anywhere near as bad as what we're dealing with right now, right? We might have 3 kingdoms immediately declare war on us, and that's gonna feel great because instead of 6, it's 3, right? It's gonna be a much better situation. Anyways, I digress. I would love to play some online Bannerlord, but not the style that it currently is. We'll see down the road. I would love to partner with plenty of you guys out there. There's a lot of enthusiasts on the channel. Of course, you know my style. I know a lot of your style. I've seen a lot of videos from fellas on the channel, and I think that would be a lot of fun. So we will keep that on the back stove, just something that maybe down the road is something we're doing. This guy says he's thinking. So these are the Battanians that fled, and they still have a huge army here. It's about twice our size. It's really weird looking. The troops are all spread out. I want to kill these guys, but they're twice our numbers. We're banged up. They have a good army, but not that good. I think we'll engage them. Let's see what they do here. It'd be nice if they attacked us, because of course then they have to come to us. That's a critical part of Bannerlord. We got to be careful not to get captured here like dipshits, though, too. These Battanians they're tough, right? These are never automatic battles. Now, I've got too many troops, so we're moving really slow here. We're going to dump off. Yeah, these came free from that last battle. We'll just dump off these looters. In fact, I might just disband those looters. I don't think we need looters in our army here. If they attack us, we're definitely gonna fight this. They have more archers than almost our whole army, but that's fine. We're outnumbered 2-1. If we can find a ridge somewhere, or if we can do some killbot tactics, we're gonna be able to mangle this force. In fact, unfortunately, I say unfortunately because we don't need their help. Another force here joined, Mara. She's got, she's archer heavy. There's a chance that she actually sort of plays into our strategy. So we shall see. But we'll take on this Battanian force here. And I think I'll show this battle and probably save that last siege, because at least I was able to share some of my philosophies on various different shit. Right? If I just mumbling, sometimes I haven't drank enough caffeine or something. In fact, speaking of, let's get a little bit more caffeine here. And this battle here, it looks like we've got ridges to play with, right? You guys, fellas and frequent channel visitors, know what I'm going to do here, right? I'm just looking for the right setup. And of course, the tactic we're going to use here is a reverse slope decline, right? Peekaboo Ridge. This is going to be sort of an optimal situation. Not only do I have a primary ridge, but I have 2 or 3 others that I can fall back to if we start to get overrun. And effectively, the strategy here is very simple. We're going to spread out archers in a big cup formation, hold the ridge. We're going to let the enemy come to us, and then we will flank with shield and shock, infantries and squares after they discharge all their javelins, and live happily ever after, right? That front ridge actually looks like the best. You see how they get chokehold there at those rocks? So I think we're going to try to move up there quickly, seize that ridge, and then hold it to death. Most of you guys have already seen this before, but I will sort of narrate the concepts behind this in case guys are watching. Whoops, we'll slow things down here. In case guys are watching for the first time and they have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. To me, this is probably the most deadly tactical thing that you can do in Bannerlord. What I mean by that is we're outnumbered 2-1. The power bar says it's an even fight, and this enemy has a 0.00 chance of winning this battle. There's no chance they win as long as I don't finger fuck, fat fuck, some kind of command. This is going to be a total destruction. Not only just a destruction, but it's the kind of battle where we can really minimize our casualties. And that's necessary, of course, because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking Poros. Valandians are there. The Valandians have the largest kingdom in our campaign right now. They're likely to have, I don't know. I was going to say hundreds of thousands of troops there, right? Maybe it's not that bad. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but they're likely to have thousands of fucking troops there. So we shall see. We need to minimize our losses here is the gist of all that. Now, this initial suicidal cavalry charge, right? They're just pouring in here. It's like 30 guys against our 600. These guys are insta-killed, right? It's just a spray of green. They have 800 and 900 and something troops down there approaching. And again, the strategy here is to spread out our archers. You want different angles so that your troops can hit the enemy no matter where this ridge they come up. The other thing that you really want, too, is you want to make sure that your guys have good positioning so they're not visible. And how you do that, let's see if I can explain how to do this. I do it mostly by feel, but you want slight dips in the terrain where it's a little bit lower. That way the ridge they're looking over at the approaching Battanians is steeper. In other words, it's the way that the enemy is approaching you is higher up, because then they have to come over that high ridge to see you and they get scorched. This ridge is quite sharp. It's going to be effective. There's a little gap there. I don't know if you guys can see. We're getting kind of shot at there. Some of these horse archers are being shot at. They have some archers right on the edge of the ridge there, so you can just say fire. And as soon as you say that, hundreds of arrows are just going to whiz through here and scorch these guys. In fact, let's get a close-up look here. We'll smash a few of these guys with our axe. You can just see them getting eviscerated, right? They're holding their flag up in my face. Get the fuck out of here. And you can just hear the sound of them being shredded, right? This is their first attempt. They'll probably make multiple attempts. The AI does a decent job. Shit. My horse just ran off. The AI does a decent job, actually, of sort of reassessing, saying, well, that's not working. Let's try somewhere else. But there's nowhere else for him to go, right? There is no success here. Let's do it. Let's do this again, too. I know you guys are digging the idea of our leader in this campaign, Cole, being on Camel. So let's do this shit, right? Our horse ran off. More accurately, I got off my horse and it got scared. Now we just wait, right? Now, fortunately, I have the RTS mod, right? So I can just sort of speed it along. We are going to get a shield and shock attack at some point or other on these Battanians. We're not going to be able to kill them all with archery here. In fact, they're coming up over the ridge again. Open fire, right? We'll pull a few units back here. We'll pull the 3rd Corps to the left. This might be a charge already. Usually they're not this aggressive. Let's get the 1st, 6th, and 3rd pulled back here. Archers pulled back just a notch, but I want some of them firing too. You can see the javelins just shredding the enemy. The 3rd Corps is too close. See, I don't want to engage yet unless I have to, right? So fortunately, we were able to do that. I don't think we suffered a single loss there. And now the enemy flees again because they realize they're fucked. We can just smash some of these guys over the head with our huge camel. Die, you bastard! And hold fire. Actually, they got Fiend Champs right there. Scorch them, boys. Fire! Kill these fucking Fiend Champs. And these guys are going to get scorched. That guy came back to pick up a bolt. Very bad decision. That's the old picking up pennies in front of a steamroller. Not a good decision. Important to conserve arrows here, right? If they have 3 horse archers, or in this case 25 at the back, don't have all your units fire. If you really want to micromanage, you could have 1 unit open fire. But those 25 horse archers don't really amount to much here. They're going to cause a few deaths. A lot of them are just getting skewered as they try to run through here. That's not, nobody's shooting. Those are just guys getting slashed and shit. In fact, they lost a lot of troops. They're just trying to flee. We can add to their misery. If this was 80 horse archers, you'd want to shoot, right? And again, I'm narrating all these finer details here as I club and fucking mangle their horses and riders. Just push them out of here. If it was 80, you'd want to open fire. But against 20, don't shoot. Don't waste your arrows. You're going to need them. You're going to need your arrows here as the enemy jockeys back and forth. Now, these troops here are our ally. These are not our troops, of course. I've got a firm rein on our troops here. My guys are disciplined. The enemy, or the allied AI, is doing dipshit stuff, kind of running up and sparring with the enemy. All right, so the enemy's taking a new approach here. We adjust, right? This is part of reconnaissance information. If deception is the key to all warfare, that's Sun Tzu, then the other key to warfare is information, right? You must have information about what the enemy's doing in order to enact your tactic, right? Again, they pop their insolent Battanian heads over the hilltop. Hundreds of arrows get rained into their asses. We'll move the 4th Corps back here so they don't suffer too many losses. Smash some guys with our camels here, and again, you can hear the barrage of arrows, and instantly they're pulling back again. Now, you have to be patient with this tactic. I'm sure there are guys watching like, why are you wasting your time? Just F1, F3. That's fine. You guys are welcome to do that, but you're going to suffer 500 losses or 300 losses or whatever. We're aiming for like 100 here, right? We're going to minimize our losses in this, and that's part of the reason. Part of the reason is that we have this very difficult campaign. If we just F1, F3 in this campaign, we lose for sure. We wouldn't even have made it this far. You can see what a pickle they're in. Now they're bringing up archers. That's an even worse decision. In fact, it's almost time to charge these bitches. So shield and shock over here on our right flank. What I'm doing is I'm bringing our camels and cavalry up, and the shock troops are right behind them. So this wall of camel, I was going to say iron, this wall of camel and iron gets pushed ahead so that all the projectiles hits them instead of our shock troops, the guys with no shields. The first corps will move up and hold in a line, just let them dump all their throwing weapons in. But we're going to bore in here. This side over here is particularly vulnerable. We've got like 100 shock troops here with archer support. We're gonna drive in over here. In fact, they're starting to go down the hill. We can start to rush through this battle a little bit, right? These guys are going to get plowed by shield and shock. The death spams already says it all, right? It's just fucking slow motion decapitation here of the Battanians. Send up the rest of the units. I'll pull the 5th Corps, the 5th and 4th Corps, and we will set them on this ridge as the enemy's trying to reform. But at this stage right now, it's just shield and shock. Our heavy cav are boring through here, so their archers aren't finding a lot of troops, right? They're going to shoot a lot of horses instead of our troops, and the next thing you know, just like this guy, they're going to have a huge fucking shock troop guy right in their face. The enemy is literally getting steamrolled downhill. They look like they're trying to hold up an avalanche. And the death spam says it all. Right? This is a complete and destructive massacre. We can farm a little bit here with our one-handed skill here. We got to continue to work on this for Cole so that his groups and the people in his party, it's carnage, benefit from all his perks, right? If we can get his one-handed skill to like 200, 250, we'll get even more perks. Horses are getting obliterated over here. Some of that's we got these mounted pillagers or whatever that are part of our army. Those guys were free from that last siege, and now I think I think we'll just carve our way through these archers. Actually, these are a lot of their low-level troops, and it's just beheading time, right? This is the fun part of battles like this, where at the end your overpowered character just comes through here and slashes his way through a bunch of bowl-cut fucking bunch of bowl-cut peasants. They're being trucked and ran over by fucking camels, slammed with shields, and just fucking killed with truck. Look at this fiend champ with his flag. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. The fun part of Bannerlord. I mean, the whole game is fun, but so is just ripping just ripping apart the enemy. Alright, so here's a lord. Let's do a little duel. Oh shit, look at how fast his sword swing is. Holy fuck. Alright, this guy here we're gonna have to fucking be very careful with. This is your guys' introduction to the nemesis. Look at this guy. He's like running faster than we can run. This is a nemesis right here. I will show you this guy after the battle. These guys are going to start appearing in the game. I've only done a few so far. I'm going to do the rest later on. But these guys have been edited using the console to become gods. And I will show you him in a second. So less than 100 casualties here. Just smashed this enemy aside. Even though they did have one of those nemesis there. I was very lucky to not be killed by that guy. It'll be interesting to look at his stats. We're gaining levels and shit. It's a great situation, right? It's like I said before, it's like winning a lottery and you drive down there and an armored truck crashes in front of you and money just pours out. Yeah, look at this fucking guy, Urgion. So this guy has one-handed skill, two-handed skill, elite athleticism, so he's going to move quickly. He's going to have tons of hit points, leadership, 567 riding skill, and then just for good measure 429 bow, right? So this guy's going to be a lethal sniper. And the reason I'm picking young guys for this nemesis process is because I want these guys to mature as this kingdom does into beasts. We will tip our cap to that guy, not because we're trying to be merciless or merciful here, but because this first instance, it's like, it's nice to meet you. We shall meet again. There will probably be 20 in this campaign once I take some time to pick out some lords and do some editing. And as I wrap up this episode here, this is a very long episode. I will introduce these fellas at some point, probably even soon. I'm going to pick 5, 6, 4, 5 lords from 3 or 4 kingdoms, probably the biggest kingdoms, and make these guys battlefield beasts, right? We want to have some rivals in this campaign, some guys that are essentially like, you know, fighting the bad guy from a movie. We're going to have that, right? In fact, we're going to have probably 20 of them. All right, well, we're going to wrap this episode up. Of course, you want to see more from this campaign. If you want to see Cole duel against these fucking monsters in this campaign and these beast kingdoms, you want to subscribe, please leave comments and questions. I appreciate you fellas. I will do my best to get back to them, and I will see you guys next time.